Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Hockey back with another video, and this video is on a huge blockbuster trade idea. Honestly, I have talked about it with other people. I've kind of thought about it myself, and in the past, I'll specifically just start this video with Georgiev. Like, the Leafs and Georgiev have been a conversation in the past when the Rangers were potentially trading Georgiev, and now more so in this offseason where he's an RFA. I don't think Georgiev wants to be behind Shesterkin long term. Like, he wants the opportunity to be a starter as far as we know. So the Leafs could be his opportunity. There's other teams out there, but in terms of the big blockbuster idea, maybe it's a smaller trade for Georgiev. And I'll actually discuss it in this video. I'll look at, again, cap-friendly, fan-submitted stuff. Georgiev to the Leafs in a smaller deal. But in terms of a bigger deal, if the Leafs were trying to shake things up, create some cap space for themselves, make other moves. So this is where my mindset's at. If the Leafs were to make a move like this, so Nylander for a younger player, like a Kakko. I'm not saying it's realistic, but what I'm giving the example, like a Kakko or like a Marty Necas, like a guy that's a lower cap hit that can fill a top six role still, and then gives you the cap space to make a big move in free agency. This would be the move to do it. And this is the example of a trade that I'll show. So the Leafs trading William Nylander and Justin Holl. So that's about a combined $9 million of cap for Georgiev, Kakko, and Nils Lundkvist. Lundkvist could go into your top six on defense, Kakko into your top six on the forward group, and Georgiev could be your goalie, and we'll see what happens. It is a hot take, but what I will say is that it fills three needs for the Leafs. Create some cap space, you get a goalie, and honestly, in terms of long term, you get younger with less of a mindset of all in, and you're still as skilled. I think for the New York Rangers, you love the potential of William Nylander playing next to Mika Zibanejad. That's what I'll say. Mika next to Nylander and Kreider potentially, that would be ridiculous. That would be stupid. That would be such a ridiculous line. That's why I think this benefits both teams. I don't know if the Leafs love this. I don't know if Dubas loves this. But I still have faith that Kakko can be something real, something legit. And in terms of trade proposals, this is not as crazy as some would think, because in terms of taking a risk with a guy like Kakko, like, I'm not throwing any comparisons here, but we see late bloomers all the time with certain players. Like, I always use this example because he was labeled as a bust. He was labeled as a guy that didn't pan out. And then after 4 or 5 years, now we're seeing what he is. Jonathan Huberdeau is that example for me. And I'm not comparing anything, but I'm just saying, with a guy like Kakko, what he showed overseas, what he has shown in his development, when you're asking for a guy that's like 19, 20 years old to really become a star, like Huberdeau didn't become a star until his mid-20s, until like now. And he was a high draft pick. So my point on that is this. The Leafs taking a bet on a guy like Kakko or making a move like this would allow you to get some cap space, get your goaltender, and then go after a guy in free agency potentially. Hey, a lot of Leaf fans have been wanting Kadri back. I'm not saying that would be the signing, but what I am saying is this gives you, on the surface, $9 million of cap relief. Obviously, that would change once you have to sign Georgiev and then even Kakko as well. But Georgiev has been one of the targets for the Leafs, or at least the conversation and tied to the Leafs. It's a possibility. I do want to show this as well that a fan put on Cap Friendly, which is to me such another hot take. But Rasmus Sandin to the Rangers, and you get Kakko. And the Leafs send the first-round pick. They get a second-round pick back. I think this is also just wild to a stupid amount. But I will say this. Sandin never should have been as late as, 29th overall or whatever he was. He was like towards the end of the first round. Sandin should have been much higher than that. Dubas picked him up because of the suit connection. And just Sandin, I think, has so much potential still. I don't know if the Rangers want to give up on Kakko, though. That's my problem with this trade, because I think while Kakko was scratched in the last game of the playoffs for the Rangers, and Kakko still hasn't shown enough for the Rangers, I just think as a second overall pick, the Rangers would want more. And that's why I think the Nylander scenario is more realistic, because you know what you're getting from Nylander. Yes, we've seen signs from Sandin. I just don't know if this is realistic. But you want to talk about realistic? I do want to pull up this tweet, though. And it was a conversation from Chris Johnson that no meaningful talks yet with Sandin, but no rush. Toronto's still deciding if they're keeping him. He wants to be a Leaf. So Sandin is an RFA, so is Liljegren. The Sandin conversation is interesting because as it stands right now, the Leafs have left shot defensemen in Riley, Muzzin, Giordano, and Brody, who obviously plays the right side. But that's still on the left side. You have Riley, Muzzin, Giordano. That's a conversation. Like, if you're not trading Muzzin, is Sandin playing on the right side? Would Giordano move to the right side? Like, that's a conversation that the Leafs do need to have. And that's why I said, I mean, at the end of the day, I like the potential of just Hull. To me, doesn't have too much negative value because it's a right shot guy, size. So it's like, if he can just be a throw-in in a deal, it's only $2 million. I think Hull's got to be the guy to go. Obviously, I'm biased in saying that, but I do want to look at this realistic scenario, which would be Georgiev. The Rangers don't have too much. They really don't have too much leverage. So in terms of a trade, if the Leafs were to sauce a couple picks to the Rangers, plus like an Eric Shalgren for Georgiev, like a fan submitted this on Cap Friendly, I don't think this is out of the world unrealistic. I really don't. I think at one point, the Rangers did want a first-round pick for Georgiev. I don't know if they're getting that. So overall, I think in terms of potentially saucing a pick or two to the Rangers, like a second-round pick, third-round pick, combining something like that, and then maybe like a youngish goalie in Shalgren who's like, what, mid to early 20s. So I think it's possible. I do think it's possible in terms of a trade like that. Maybe it's a prospect going to the Rangers. I'm not too sure. But I do think Georgiev, there's a high potential of him getting dealt. I think the Leafs are one of the teams that could go after him. So I think it's possible. So overall, I think the Leafs and Rangers could be trade partners. I don't know the exact deal, but I think between Georgiev, depth players, Nylander, I mean, that Nylander and Henrik Lundqvist, that connection when they were younger, and maybe Nylander would love playing for the Rangers. That I think Zibanejad next to Nylander would be disgusting. So I think if there was ever a conversation where the Leafs reevaluate, Nylander becomes available. Again, I know Dubas has talked about that, but so have other GMs in the past, because you don't want to lose that leverage. What are they going to do? They're going to come out and say, oh, we'll trade one of the core guys, or we're going to trade Nylander. Right now, I have a mixed feeling on what they're going to do. I think they should do something. They got to do something big. Maybe they don't trade Nylander, as we've talked about. But if there was any sense of Nylander being available, or if there is a team that should go after Nylander, it is the Rangers. Next to me could be disgusting. And there's guys on the Rangers that the Leafs could look at and be like, this could be a really good fit. So give me your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe, notification bell, do all that good stuff. Definitely leave your comments on video ideas as well. And I hope to see you guys around on videos and streams. A lot more content to come and a lot more hot takes. You know what? People are going to rip me, but I'm having a good time with the hot takes, having a good time with the ideas. And honestly, there's always going to be thought behind the ideas. Maybe some ideas are better than others, but I am going to go through a lot of the fan submitted stuff on Cap Friendly. So it's not always just my ideas. I'm sharing around other ideas and discussing them and giving them a good reason for them, or bashing them, or just giving shit on them. I don't know. But either way, we'll see what happens. We'll see the big trades and big moves, big free agency stuff that happen. But we are going to speculate. We are going to throw ideas out there and have fun with it. So see you guys on the next video or stream. And as I said, let me know your thoughts.